Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Primetime Local News. A really exciting show tonight. Tom Jackson, I sat down with him right before the show earlier today, talking about his sold-out show at the Big Juba Theater. Brett Kissel also on the show, and then we're talking Netflix. Yeah. Price increase. You don't have your own Netflix.
No, I tend to not pay for Netflix and use other people's accounts. So yeah, if I was paying for it, the price increase, absolutely not.
Yeah. So
happening.
Let us know. We have a poll up on Twitter and Facebook. Let us know your thoughts. We'll get into that conversation a little bit later. But first, we're going to toss it over to Brett, who's taken in the Bull Rider action.
I'm here at the Bull Riders Canada Finals, where tonight over 25 contestants and riders rather, I should say, will be duking it out here. We spoke to some riders in the last hour, but in this hour we'll be talking to some of the organizers and some other riders as well to find out a little bit about their journey here. But first, let's head back into the studio and see what's going on with them.
Holy Rosary was paid a visit by a successful alumni with an inspiring message for future grads.
Is there anything that you want to talk about, Cody?
Joshua Smith and his friends Brock and Cody were with Holy Rosary students discussing scholarship options and his work with L'Arche. The organization he works for aims to create programs, homes, and support networks for those with disabilities.
There are places in the world that people from all different backgrounds come together and can meet and can live in community together and can work together and put differences aside to care for each other.
Smith says the organization's main message is that all people are called to be who they are in their fullest self. Smith works to uplift people of all abilities and backgrounds and hopes to share with future post-secondary students that this is a valuable career option. And sports is known for its stereotypical terms with real-world meanings like Hail Mary and wheelhouse, but one sports term has been under fire recently, and our Brett Holden has the story.
When playing sports as a kid, getting tiered by age is the norm. If you are under 9 years old, you play in novice. If you are around 15 years old, you play in the bantam division. And from 16 to 18 years old, you play in the midget division. And now there has been a plea to have the term diminished in minor sports.
Yeah, the term midget for me, it's an age group. It's not a size of anybody or anything. It's just that's a division you're in, and that's where you go.
Derogatory is how some people view the term, but in the sports world, this is not a new occurrence.
When you look at the Redskins and the Braves and the Indians and even the Eskimos, those are names that have been around for over 70 years, and I think people are proud of those teams, and I really can't see a reason to change them up.
Bobcats head coach Nigel Dubé spent time playing hockey in the United States, and he says that the terms used there are much different than the ones used in Canadian minor athletics.
When I was in the U.S. With the hockey process, they had the younger ones to encourage it for wording. They called them mites and squirts. So that was new to me because I was used to peewees and atoms up here, and then going down there, I actually had to kind of ask somebody like, okay, what's the mite level, what's the squirt level?
And the midget level has a much different name down south as well.
But then when it gets to the older ages in the U.S., then it's just 18U, 16U. So I've really found myself here is to identify them as going to a 16U game or an 18U game.
Brett Holden, Primetime Local News.
And a pet store here in the border city is wanting to make sure rescue animals get a Christmas this year, too. Every year, Pet Planet hosts a donation drive for Lloyd's Local Rescues, and this year, all the donations will be going to Fur Babies Forever Homes and the Lloyd SPCA.
Their medical bills are piling up. They still need to be fed, and these wonderful ladies are stressing themselves out so far to try and make all this happen. And it's so easy just to donate a bag of food or anything that can just help. Those extra sheets that you have laying around at home, they can sleep on that.
Not only do you feel good when you drop off a donation, you will get something back in return.
What I do is for every item that you bring in to donate, I'll give you a little raffle ballot. That raffle ballot, there's a basket sitting underneath our tree. December 23rd, I'll pull a ticket. And it's just a way of saying thank you for donating.
Sarah wants to stress that if you want to donate but don't know what to bring, food is always something that is high on the list. And now we're going to send it back to Brett Holden, who is live at the Lloyd X.
I am joined now by a couple of the announcers for tonight. Dustin, I'll start with you. This is your 11th year announcing. You started pretty young. What got you into this?
Well, when you're no good at competing and you can't stay on the bull, they stick you up in the announcer stand and give you a microphone. So yeah, it's been a fun ride, and 6th time announcing these BRC finals, and always fun. But yeah, it's much safer on this side of the fence, and you always get paid no matter what. So it's pretty nice.
Well, you mentioned it's much safer, but you had one story where it might not been.
Well, yeah, I was here last year. We were doing a presentation in the arena. I was about to give a plaque to a sponsor, and one of the chutes opened up, and the bull came out, and it was behind my back, and all I heard was yelling. I think it was Doug on the microphone saying run, and so we ran. We got away, but that was one of the close calls, yeah.
Unreal. Well, Doug, we'll turn to you now. I asked you how long you've been doing this for, and you said too long.
Oh, yeah, it's been a long time, Brett, I'll tell you what. But, you know, so happy to be here. It's an honor to be here at the finals, I'll tell you. These Cowboys have worked, some of them, for a lifetime to get here, and to watch them do good, to be here with Dustin, 5th time now, absolutely great.
So for you, who's seen almost everything, it may seem like, what's an event like this for you?
Well, you know, every performance is totally unrehearsed. There's always something you've never seen before. It's always exciting to watch everybody experience it for the first time. If they're first-time fans, that's doubly exciting for us.
Perfect. We'll have a little bit more from here, but let's head back into the studio and see what's going on with the weather this time.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. We are expecting a fairly snowy weekend and then continuing into next week's work week. Unfortunately, as a low pressure moves its way through the prairies. Currently sitting at -8. We did see the sunshine today, which was very nice, as we saw it a couple days this week, which has been a nice break. Looking to our satellite radar, not a whole lot of activity because that's really going to be starting tomorrow. But we are currently on the cusp here of a fog advisory, especially places in southern Saskatchewan. Seeing that fog still in effect, possibly overnight dissipating, then potentially lingering on until tomorrow morning, so do take caution out there. Like I said, -8 here in the border, so a little bit cooler at -10 in North Battleford, -6 in Saskatoon, -5 in Prince Albert and in Melfort. Over on the Alberta side, 0 degrees in Edmonton. They've already dropped a degree, -9 in Red Deer, -1 in Rocky Mountain House, and then -2 up in Athabasca. To our broadcast region, -10 currently in North Battleford, going to be warming up overnight, -6, and then tomorrow -4 with that cloud cover continuing throughout the weekend. Cold Lake -2 currently, dipping down to -6, and then tomorrow -4, and Cold Lake also expecting a lot of snow this weekend. Like we are here in the border city, about 8 centimeters could fall by Monday. -8 right now, going to stay there overnight, feeling a little bit cooler with the wind, and then tomorrow a high of -5. Tomorrow afternoon is when we could see that snow starting. -8 for the low, and then Sundays when we're really going to see the majority of that snowfall. Throughout the next 3 days, we could see potentially about 8 centimeters total of snow. Places in southern Alberta, though, places like Calgary, Coronation, and even Edmonton going to be getting a lot of snow, some areas up to 20 centimeters. I'll have those details and a little bit more details of when we're going to be seeing our snow action coming up a little bit later in the show.
Welcome back. A packed room as Farm Credit Canada is taking its second Young Farmers Tour across the country. Gerard Lampow meets the Ignite team in Camrose.
And those of you who raise livestock, you know what oxytocin is.
Oxytocin is that feel-good love hormone that affects everything from bonding to lactation. Dr. Amir George Sabungi started off his professional career in the Navy and has transitioned to being a psychologist.
Having served in the Navy taught me 2 things. One is the importance of focusing on why we do things, that sometimes our sacrifice, if we feel that it's for a noble cause, then it's not as painful.
Most people call him Dr. George. He says the second thing he learned as a naval officer is the power of the team.
And one of the hardest things for the farming community is being isolated and feeling alone. And so figuring out ways to remember why we're doing this, why our sacrifice matters, remembering that we are not alone, and that especially in an environment where people don't ask for help, it's important to reach out and give them the help that they need, because they won't reach out and ask for it.
Social media, especially Ag Twitter, is helping to bridge the isolation. Also the sense of seeing the bigger picture that Canadian farmers feed the world.
This is the food bowl of the world, actually, you know? All of the wheat we have gets exported to Italy, and you know, we know the Canadian farmers helped to keep Europe alive during the Second World War. And so when we forget why we're doing all this and we forget how much people appreciate our sacrifice, this is when people get into a lot of trouble. So
this point resonated with his young audience.
I think the biggest thing that we talked about today was just the importance of mental health, not only in our day-to-day lives, but also when it comes to on the farm and balancing stress.
Dr. George says his main takeaway is 10 ways to get our serotonin levels up and keep our energy buckets filled.
And things that should be fulfilling, like seeing our friends and family, feels like a chore for us. Spending quality time with our spouses feels like it's just one more obligation. We have to break that.
Gerard Lampow, Primetime Local News.
That's it for your Ag News. Sports is next, but first we'll take a look at those egg prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Taking a look at your local sports now, the ACAC curling season is underway and the Lakeland Rustlers had mixed results at the Fall Regional last weekend. The women managed to win 1 and the men went 2-4, while the mixed squad finished 4-1 and good for the first in the tournament.
We were hoping for some good results. We ended up with some very good results. The mix did very well. They're right at the top.
We played really well. We had great chemistry, and we just were rolling all week long, and we had a ton of fun out there.
Makachuk also on the high on the men's and women's teams, who were just a few shots away from getting more victories.
They'll be going, and the ladies had a few games that were very close, but we can work on that, and we'll get back up there. So we're looking forward to the next one.
The Winter Regional is in Edmonton from January 25th to the 27th. And the Lakeland Rustlers basketball teams are about to wrap up the first half of their season, hosting the Grand Prairie Wolves tonight and tomorrow. The women's team is currently 5-5 and needs these 2 wins over the winless Wolves squad to keep pace with Keanu, Concordia and Nate in the North Division playoff race. It would also extend their win streak to 4 games, and the men have a much tougher test, needing 2 wins to finish the first half with a 500 record and a 4-way tie for 3rd place. They will have to do it against a Grand Prairie team 2 wins ahead of them, who just swept the previously undefeated Concordia Thunder. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. and tonight and 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. And it's a busy weekend for junior hockey in the region. The Lloydminster Bobcats host the Calgary Canucks Saturday evening at 7:30 and the Drumheller Dragons at 2:30 on Sunday. The Bonnyville Pontiacs have the 2 teams first with games tonight and tomorrow evening. And in the Junior B action, the Lloydminster Bandits are in Kellam to take on the Wheat Kings this evening, and the Vermilion Tigers host the Wainwright Bisons on Saturday. That's it for your local sports. We're going to head it back to Brett Holden, who is live at the Lloyd X.
I'm back here at the Bull Riders Canada Final, where right now I'm joined by Cody and Aaron. And first, I'll start with you, Cody. You're number 1 in right now. Can you just kind of talk about your season?
You know, I had a great season. I can't really complain. I didn't get to as many events as I wanted to, but they couldn't catch me in the Bull Riders Canada. So if I can ride my bulls this weekend here, I can come out to national champions, and that's the goal.
So tonight for you, you're going to not only be riding, but you're going to be in the grudge match as well. Can you talk about the grudge match a little bit?
Yeah, you know, it's a cool, they call it the Canadian Global Grudge Match. It's the top 5 bull riders take on the top 5 bucking bulls in the Bull Riders Canada. So 1,000 goes to the rider if they ride the bull, or else if the bull bucks the guy off, the contractor gets 1,000. So it's pretty cool.
Is this something for you, something new? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Or
No, I've been here in Lloyd to the Bull Riders Canada Finals for the last 3 years, and I've been in the grudge match every year. I've yet to get a bull rode, so maybe this is my year.
So can you just talk about really quickly maybe the bull that you're going to be on tonight?
Yeah, his name's Cool Bricks. I honestly haven't seen the bull too much, but I hear good things, and I'm hoping for good things, and I'll just ride to the best of my ability, and that's all I can do.
Perfect. So let's go over here now to Aaron, where for you kind of had you've been the circuit rather. Sorry, losing my words here. For 13 years now. Can you kind of talk about your experience?
Yeah, this bull riding is a great sport to be a part of, especially if you're an adrenaline junkie, and to be able to do it for 13 years and doing something you love is a great feat, and it's absolutely what I want to do and keep doing.
So let's talk about your night tonight. What's kind of your expectations for yourself?
I've absolutely loved this building. I've always had good luck here. The last time I rode in this building was a PBR, and I ended up winning a truck here. So to be able to come back and ride in this building means a lot, and I'm hoping to do really good tonight.
Perfect. And let's kind of talk about as well, maybe the bull that you're riding tonight as well.
I got a bull that goes by the name of Headstruck. I've seen him a few times, and he's a really good draw, and if I go out there and do my job, it should end up in a good score.
So let's kind of talk about as well, just kind of for you, what's kind of been your favorite moment so far in your career?
In my career, my favorite moment has been making the World Finals, PBR World Finals. I made those 8 times, and then just recently I've been named as the coach for Team Canada at the Global Cup for PBR again, and it'll be my 3rd year doing that, and I'm super excited to lead that team down there again. I think we have a really good team and a legitimate shot at winning a championship at that.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We'll have a little bit more from here, but let's head back in the studio and see what's going on with weather.
All right, thank you so much, Brett. Looking forward to that event on tonight at the Lloyd X. Starting it off with this gorgeous shot of some branches with some of that hoarfrost that we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. Beautiful photos from that. Temperature-wise, not too bad. Sitting at -8 right now here in the border city. A little bit warmer as we move south. So -4 in Vermilion, -5 in Wainwright, -5 in Provost and Macklin, -1 in Bonnyville, also in St. Paul, -2 currently in Cold Lake, -6 for Maidstone, and currently -10 in North Battleford. As we move up north, basically -5 as we move up the region here. La Loche, Buffalo Narrows, and La Ronge all sitting there. South End at -7, -7 also in Fort McMurray, -7 in Slave Lake, -3 in Slave Lake, and that's the same number in Grand Prairie. A little bit cooler at -6 in Peace River. And then as we move down south, number-wise, not so bad, but they're going to get about 20 centimeters of snow over the weekend. So 0 degrees for Medicine Hat, -1 in Lethbridge, 1 degree in Calgary, and -5 in Coronation. These areas are really going to be impacted by that snow as the low pressure is making its way through the prairies. They could see up to 20 centimeters by the end of the weekend. -3 in Swift Current, and then also -3 in Regina currently. Numbers tomorrow, not too bad, but we are expecting some of that snow to reach here in the border city. Could see up to 8 centimeters by the end of the weekend. -5 tomorrow, -5 also in Macklin, Maidstone there. Tomorrow going to be -4 in North Battleford, -5 in Vermilion, and then -4 in Vegreville and Edmonton. And then here's a look at your snow that's going to be starting. So we're going to see it starting around the Saturday late afternoon into the evening hours, and we're really going to see the brunt of it come in on Sunday and then continuing possibly into Monday. So we're sitting in that mark. We could see about 8 centimeters total from the weekend. At least it's not 20 like those places in southern Alberta, but still quite a bit of snow. So tomorrow, temperature-wise, not too bad. We're going to be above the average there, so -5 number-wise. But like I said, we could start to see that snow come into play tomorrow afternoon, continuing on into Sunday when we have a higher percentage of that snow. -4 for the high there, -6. Monday, we could still see some snowfall, and that over those 3 days, we could see that accumulation of about 8 to 10 centimeters of snow. -9 for the low there, and then Tuesday, we really start a cooling trend. So -9 on Tuesday, -17 for the low. A little bit warmer on Wednesday as -10 is the low, but once you factor in that wind, going to feel colder. We could also see some more flurry actions on Wednesday, and then Thursday is really when that low pressure comes into play. play with those cold numbers, -14 only for the high, -19. And then once you factor in that wind, going to feel much cooler. So we're going to be feeling almost to that -30 mark. So definitely going to have to plug in those vehicles. On Friday, -12. We are going to see some sunshine there, and then -19 for the overnight low rather. But yeah, just these next 3 days, a lot of snow coming through the prairies.
And we'll toss it back to Brett Holden now, who is live at the Lloyd X.
So I'm joined now by the president. And now, Russell, let's kind of talk about the importance of an event like this for you guys here.
Well, absolutely, Brett. This is the culmination of 82 events coast to coast. So we have over 250 rodeo cowboys and stakeholders going 10 months of the year. And we're always excited to come to Lloyd because this is the pinnacle. This is where all the hardware is handed out. The bull of the year, the best bull in the entire country. Season leader, the guy that's leading it coming into the finals. Finals champion, and of course, the national championship.
So let's talk about just the expectations for tonight. You talked about the hardware, you talked about some of the events as well, but let's maybe talk about some of the expectations.
Well, you know, bull riding is a lot like golf, frankly. You know, a guy may be able to hit a 7-iron 150 yards, but you put a little breeze and put a little water, and all of a sudden, things that normally wouldn't come into play do. And so for the expectations here, we just want these guys to ride to their potential. We know for the last 3 years now in this entire country, Brett, we've had the highest riding average of any bull riding association in the history of our country. So obviously we're looking for these cowboys to ride to their potential. A 50% riding average at this event here tonight, I think is not out of the question. We're excited.
So I was talking to some of the riders tonight as well, and they were talking about some of the international talent as well. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. You know, we had an individual, Marcos Gloria, who came to us 3 years ago. As a matter of fact, we wrote the letter to get him into Canada on a sports visa. Goes out there and wins the Calgary Stampede this year. 2018 Calgary Stampede champion from Brazil. That's incredible. I mean, that's the world's best. Absolute best in the world at that rodeo, and he beat them all. BRC guy. You know, we've got Aaron Roy here, another local flavor. I mean, that's a 7-time PBR World Finals guy. He's here. We've got the Canadian champion who just won the CFR, Wasey Finkbeiner, BRC guy. The PBR champion, Cody Coverchuk, who was on earlier, BRC guy. This is his 5th finals, and from right here in Saskatchewan. I mean, so we have had international talent from Paraguay. We've had it from Brazil. We've had it from the United States. But this is, make no mistake about it, this is Bull Riders Canada. And other rodeo athletes from around the globe recognize the potential here to get better and the rationale to earn a living for their family in other countries. It's spectacular.
Awesome. Well, we'd like to thank Russell for joining us here. And if you guys think that Netflix is too expensive, come on down here tonight. The event is about to get started, but let's head back into the studio and see what's going on there.
Well, Brett kind of teased our question of the day. Netflix announcing yesterday that they were raising their prices by $3. So if you have just the basic account, it's now going to be $13.99 a month. It used to be, I think it started at $8.
Yeah,
so it's gone up quite a bit, almost double the price. And so that was our question of the day. Do you think it's still worth the money? We put out a poll. We have over 500 of you have answered our poll. It's almost 50-50, so 44% say yes, 56% of you say no. It seems a little steep.
Yeah, it's a little pricey, and I think most people will probably, because like you said earlier, there are other options now, and Netflix isn't the only place where you can watch movies, so I think that will maybe end up not benefiting them in the long run because people will bail.
Yeah, exactly. James says, I waste a lot more money on things that I use less than Netflix. And a couple people said, well, if they just continue to push out the content that they are, then it's worth it, as long as that quality doesn't drop. We always ask a question of the day, so we'd love for you to weigh in on our social media pages. And we also ask for your pet photos on our social media so we can show them here on Primetime Local News. Look at this. Oh, Molly.
So cute.
This was sent to us by Janet. Very cute cat there. Thanks for sending that one in. We have Nolan. This was sent in by Phil, right in the Christmas spirit there. Next up, we have Willow the Christmas cat. We're in the Christmas spirit here. Jennifer sent that one in. Thank you for sending that. Next up, we have Kingston and Draco. I don't know if they're happy or sad that they're in the back. Yeah, that was sent to us by Sarah. And then last but not least, another Willow. Look at this super cute photo that was sent to us by Maxie. And at the end of the show, stick around. We will be announcing this week's winner for our Pet Pad giveaway.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
I'm here at the Vic Juba Theater ahead of the Huron Carol Benefit Series concert with legendary Tom Jackson. I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. Sold out show tonight, always a big hit here in Lloydminster. You've been doing this for over 3 decades. So why do you keep doing it? And are you surprised that you have to still do it and raise funds for our local food banks across the country?
Well, it's easy to say you wouldn't do something that you're enjoying, but why would you stop? I mean, one of the real joys for me and the glory for everybody on the tour is that we consciously know that there's somebody at the other end of the chain that's getting helped. And there's nothing like, there just isn't. There's nothing like the feeling when you help somebody else. I mean, you know it yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you can't get away from that. But why we do it is more important than the gift is in the giving part. Because we know that there are people in your community who desperately need help, and desperately this time of year. And it's not just about the body, it's about the soul, it's about the mind, it's about knowing that people care about you. And that there's, you know, a tangible result from this gives us the kind of connection with your community that it takes to have us keep coming back. And the co-op, you know, plays a very big part in all this, and we're there very thankful for them, you know, not just for us, but for the people they help in your community.
And not only have you raised, you know, tons of funds for food banks across the country, you've also spoken about suicide prevention and, you know, other topics. So why is it important to you to use your platform and not only go to communities, but really speak about these subjects?
Well, it's one thing to have a blessing, but it's another thing to be able to share that blessing. And I've been blessed. I feel very blessed to be here. And let me give you a little secret. We're spreading joy. And my good friend Don Simpson said to me, he said, the economy of the future is made up of joy, unconditional compassion, and love. That's the economy of the future. But if we don't share that, then its value decreases. So if we share it, it multiplies. And so all the work that I've been blessed to do continues to build an economy for the future.
And has there been a moment in your career where you've been able to step back and look back at the impact you've made and said, wow, I did something?
Not yet.
Really?
You know, I got a ways to go with that, but but it's nice to know that there's some validation in what you do. I mean, people like yourself are very instrumental in all of what we do, because if the word doesn't get out that we're here or that we're coming, then we are not nearly as effective. So we have to thank you too, you know.
Yeah, well, I want to thank you for sharing your time with us today. We're looking forward to the show, sold out here in Lloydminster, and as you continue your tour, and I know this is the way people kick off their, you know, their holidays for the season. So everyone looks forward to this. So I want to thank you so much for inspiring so many across the country with your music and your activism. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on? It's Pete Jackson from Boom 95.3 in Cold Lake, and here's what's happening
this weekend. A couple events to tell you about going on in the city of Cold Lake. Actually getting going this evening is the Santa Claus Parade in the city of Cold Lake. That started at 6 o'clock, and that's going to be running for about an hour, hour and a half or so. And it's a great community event where local businesses, community members, different groups and organizations get into the holiday spirit and get everyone else kind of into the holiday spirit as well by doing a parade right through the main downtown area of Cold Lake. So that runs probably about 6 till about 7:30 or so. After that, over at the Energy Center in Cold Lake, they're doing a little holiday gathering as well. There's going to be pictures with Santa, holiday crafts, cookie decorating, and so much more, and that'll be running until 9 o'clock at the Energy Center in Cold Lake. Another event that is on this weekend, and is actually going to be on every single weekend all the way up until December 31st, is Operation Red Nose Cold Lake. It offers you and your vehicle a safe ride home during the holiday season. If you're out at the Christmas party, if you're out with your buddies, if you're out at the pub, and you shouldn't drink and drive, obviously, but you don't want to leave your vehicle out for the evening, all you got to do is phone up Operation Red Nose Cold Lake, and they will get you and your vehicle home safely within the city limits of Cold Lake. And one of the best parts about it is it's absolutely free. Donations are encouraged, though, and those donations help out with Cold Lake Victim Services. So if you want to help out and volunteer with Operation Red Nose Cold Lake, you can do so online, operationrednosecoldlake.com, to fill out your application form. And if you need to use Operation Red Nose Cold Lake, you can give them a call at 780-812-5880. If you got an event you want featured on What's Happening, shoot me an email, pete@boom953.ca.